few minutes before we actually get rolling here. Just let the boys get in here. Alex, how you doing? You out in LA?
Yeah, man. I've been out here for November. I'll be out here for December too. I'm subletting on my buddy's spot and just working from out here. I'm in Venice, loving it. Um, Miss New York, of course, but it's pretty nice out here too. Where are you guys?
I'm in Nashville. That's where we're kind of based out of.
That's right.
Yeah. I'm in
Hey,
Chicago.
hey, am I
Cincinnati.
You're like a tiny bit laggy. It's not too bad though.
Yeah, Coop, am I laggy too? Because it sounds super laggy to me.
You're not laggy.
All right, I think it's just the delay. Let me grab some real quick.
The Twitch is gonna be
The
delayed
delay.
if you're watching the Twitch. But Alex, you're actually delayed on like the live thing. Oh, now you're good. Now you're good. Maybe you just had to motivate it a little bit. Dude, the California Wi-Fi blows though. Wes literally
Buddy always
drops out of every meeting 10 times a meeting. He's probably watching right now. But then today I discovered he's on Safari instead of Google Chrome. I was like, dude, he's using Safari. I literally made this analogy. I was like, Safari versus Google Chrome is driving a station wagon from LA to New York instead of taking a private jet. Like it's literally night and day. Like the things you can do on Google Chrome are insane. Here he goes.
Coop, unfortunately, I'm Safari guy till I die.
Dude, I mean, you're going to get into the real world and figure out everything Google Chrome can do for you. It's just unbelievable. The plugins are incredible. It's actually like...
I guess I don't do too serious stuff.
No, it's insane. I'm telling you. Like, if anybody in the comments is on Safari, get on Google Chrome. Come into 2022 with me. Wes, let's fucking go, Brenny.
Wes. That's what I call it.
All right. We'll get rolling here. I don't even know. This is like episode 20 something of the SoBet Scoop. All the boys are in the comments. Let's go get it rolling. Coop, where is Candace? Thought she was gonna be on today. Who's Candace? I don't even know Candace. But we got special guests, Alex Day on the podcast from the Overtime crew. He's out in LA right now. Alex, we're pumped to have you. Can't wait to rip down this slate with you. Gutsy Gang, obviously,
Let's go.
staple
Pumped to
on the
be here.
Scoop. And then two newcomers, not on SoBet, but on the Scoop. We've been trying to line it up for a couple weeks now. We got Brenny Locks, of course. Brenny brings a massive following to the table. We probably got some Brenny. Brenny, what do you call your following?
We're the locksmiths.
The Locksmiths. We got some Locksmiths in the chat. And then new to SoBet, new to the Scoop, we got the Hobby Capper. Hobby, great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
But anybody got any opening words? Alex, opening words? Guess. You go first.
Oh, I am seeing this slate with the clearest 2020 vision. It's weird. I had a really hot week, a really cold week, and last week I was right around 500. So I think per the cycle, that means we're back to being hot, right?
I mean, yeah, naturally. Back to the top of the order, right, Guts?
Go. Right back to the top of the order.
No,
Nothing
dude, that
new.
one week you posted your card, and I was like, I think I commented, I was like, hey, John, like, John's our marketing guy. I was like, get the recruiting slate out. Like, make sure Alex is on the tracker. we need to keep tabs on this guy. He's on the rise. We need to keep tabs on this guy.
I had literally an 11-0 Sunday, and then the next week I went, I think like it was either 4-7 or 3-8. So just like couldn't, water finds its level.
Back to the top of the order, yeah.
Back to the top of the order.
But no, let's get into the slate. We'll kick it off with Thursday night. We'll get into some NCAA, obviously championship weekend, and then we got an NFL special. The slate this weekend is unbelievable. Like, obviously we've had some good weeks, but NFL is unbelievable. Championship Saturday is okay, but I think it's going to be unbelievable because, USC, TCU, they're going to break the college football world. It's going to be awesome. Been banging the drums all year. But let's start out with the night. We're up in Gillette. We got some wind blowing. Bills, Pats, spreads at 3.5. Kind of a stinky line. We'll start out with Guts because he always likes to open it up. Interdivision rival. We'll let him get his whatever he has to say off his chest, and then we'll get into the real picks for the night. All right, Guts.
So wait, what game did you say? Did you say the Utah game?
No, Bills, Pats, my guy.
What game? Oh, sorry, I was actually reading the comments over here. Comments are absolutely buzzing right now.
I know.
So the Bills Pats tonight. Listen, I've got 2 plays in the game. I don't have a side bet. I do think the Patriots can win this game tonight, which does lead me to, of course, my 2 favorite plays, which are 2 prop plays. And we've been killing the props all season long, and I've got some props I love today. Now, one of them is going to be unbettable at this point, I'm telling you right now, and it's very juicy. The one that I like, Dawson Knox, over 3.5 receptions. He's been getting 3 to over receptions. Elias got 4 receptions, 5 games so far this year. The Patriots have let up a lot of receptions to random tight ends throughout the season. They've been let up a lot. They've actually let up a lot of yards. They haven't necessarily let up a ton of receptions. That's because some games that they've played have just been fucking low, not really shootouts. So a lot of tight ends haven't been getting the plays. But Dawson Knox due for a big game here. This is a perfect spot to do it because, the Patriots have to keep the ball in front of them, not behind them. So I love a lot of check down passes. Go to Dawson Knox tonight and Devin Singletary. Now, I took this over 1.5 receptions last night, minus 160. Yes, that is fucking expensive ass juice that I usually never pay. But this bet makes no sense. Singletary has never gone back-to-back games, only getting 1 reception. He usually always gets 2. He's only had 1 in 3 games so far this year. And again, it's the same exact reason why the Patriots, they like to keep the ball in front of them. They don't like it to get behind them. And I just think Singletary is going to get a shit ton of catches tonight and just blow past the 1.5. I would still sprinkle 2.5 for just a little bit less, not 2. I put 2.5 units, almost max played it. I would still do a unit on over 2.5 though.
All right, Guts. I mean, obviously a Dolphins fan, but I respect the play as a Patriots fan. Brenny, we'll slide over to you. What are you looking at?
I'm all over the Pats tonight. It's a really tough game for me though because I like to look at recency bias a lot, and coming off last week, I don't really know what you take away from both teams' matchups because me personally, watching the game on Thanksgiving between the Vikings and the Patriots, I thought the Patriots looked really good. Mac Jones played one of his best games of the year. I think that is for sure going into tonight. There's no more quarterback doubt, at least in my opinion. So I'm on the Patriots. I think that they do win outright, but it's a divisional game at home. I'm going to take the 3.5. Potentially closer to game time if I get a little degenerate rush, that we all get, or at least I hope you guys get it too. Might have to toss a unit on the money line, but I'm all over the Pats tonight. I think a home dog, 3 or more points. Everything is in the Patriots' favor tonight against the spread.
100%. Hobby, wearing the jersey. I think everybody knows what the pick's going to be, but let's see. How are you looking at this game tonight?
Yeah. This just seems like one of those games that Belichick brings the guys to play. I'm a numbers guy. We got this line opened up at -5.5, down to -3.5 right now in some books. You can still catch 4 in some places. The handle's about 70% on the Bills for the spread, almost 85% on the money line. Got a lot of reverse live movement, bringing it back down to 3.5. I currently have 4 on my books. So I played Pats +4. One key note here: the Pats are going to giving up 67 yards on the ground the last 3 games. It's cold, it's windy. I think if we can keep Allen in the pocket, force him to throw, the Pats have a really good chance of covering this +4.
Yeah, no doubt. I've seen a lot of people taking Allen's rushing yards because they think he's going to run all over the place. But I feel like if the public knows that, obviously Belichick knows that. So the goal is to keep him in the pocket tonight. All right, Alex, Mr. 11-0. Who we taking?
My first instinct is to say the Pats, especially when you see the hook. The hook is begging you to take the Pats. I'm just thinking that if I was on the Bills, I would be pretty fucking sick and tired of what people are saying about the Bills this week. And I think this is kind of like a Josh Allen, hey, what about, don't forget about me kind of game.
Wow.
I bet the Pats last week. Even the fact that, everyone I talked to today is taking the Pats. That scares me. I want to take the Pats, but I really think the Bills remind people that like they're still a Super Bowl contender. They haven't looked good for a couple weeks now. They barely squeaked out wins. I like the Bills 3.5. I also like Stevenson over 16 carries. That's plus 100. I think Bill's gonna feed him. And he's right around that number almost every single week. Last week was a little bit down for him, but he's usually around that 14 to 16 range. I think he goes over. And if we want to throw an anytime touchdown in there, because of course we do, I like that Gabe Davis one also.
Love it. Josh Allen revenge game. Is that what you're saying?
I just think that he's played really badly, and there have been more than just a couple whispers. And I think, he's comfortable playing in New England. Like, he's played there a ton of times. I think he rights the ship.
All right, I respect it. For me, I mean, I'm all over the Pats. I'm a Pats guy. I've been to Gillette. I felt the wind. I don't know how many times Josh Allen has felt it, but I don't know if it's enough. Enough to go into Gillette and win against the evil empire, the Kings of the East, Bill Belichick, and the Patriots. Mac looked like an all-pro last year. I honestly think it could be a Patriots blowout. Like, I might look at the alternate spreads after this, but I'm definitely taking the Pats money line. My anytime is going to be a Hunter Henry touchdown. Henry, he scored last year. He hasn't scored as much as he should be scoring, but tonight the Bills are going to pack the box in the red zone. The Pats like to run the ball. It's just going to be a little play action, dink and dunk, over the top, Hunter Henry, take it to the bank. It's going to be an anytime. I think it's at like plus 230 I saw on DraftKings, so I'm definitely going to lock that in. But I'm telling you, it's the evil empire. You don't fuck with the evil empire. Kings of the East guts. They rule with an iron fist. Pats money line. Pats blowout. I love it.
Kings of the early 2000s and Kings of cheating, but that's really all it is.
Kings of the East guts. Kings of the East.
We're the new Kings of the East, buddy. Welcome back to reality.
Your king can't even walk off the field.
My King's gonna win MVP.
He can't. He's wobbling.
Simple.
He's wobbling.
MVP winner. Tua Tagovailoa. Boom. MVP winner.
All right, let's talk college football. Big championship slate. We'll start out out west in Vegas. We got Utah, USC. I've been banging the USC drum all year. We'll start out with Gutsy again because we know what he's going to pick. But Guts, give it to us straight.
I'm not sure why.
Tell us what we don't want to hear. We know USC is on the Gutsy list.
It's not just USC as a school, even though USC is a school full of scumbags. It's two guys, Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams, number 2 and number 3 King scumbag list. It's not even close. I mean, these guys, and listen, Caleb Williams is a fucking beast. He's probably going to win the Heisman now because of last week. I'm not going to argue with you there. Utah already beat them once, obviously. The biggest thing here, and it's just not even close, it's the defense. I mean, USC's defense is legitimately not just one of the worst defenses in the country. They're one of the worst defenses in all of Power 5 football. I mean, they are absolute dog shit. 124th in rush success allowed, 101st in pass success allowed, 128th. What is there, 131 teams ranked? 128th in points allowed per game. I'm not going to argue with you that USC's offense isn't going to be able to keep up with Utah's. I'm not going to argue with that because they're both top 10 in rush success, pass success. They both have 2 of the best offensive lines in college football. It's going to be probably an absolute fucking shootout. But I just think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who can create more stops. And I just don't think it's going to be USC's defense. And I know that down the stretch, they've had a couple of decent games, but I think Utah's going to come out. And I hate
create more stops. The first game they played was 43-42, my guy. There was no stops. There's not going to be any stops.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Who's going to be able to create more stops?
You can't stop Caleb Williams.
And it's going to be Utah's defense. Wait, they're on a whole nother level than USC's. USC's is legitimately one of the worst defenses, like I said, not just in the country, but Power 5 in general. This is a massive, massive game. A lot of implications behind it. Utah's been trying to win a game like this. Give me Utah money line.
The Gutsy gang's
money line.
The Gutsy gang's out.
Keep the points.
They're getting all turned on over your yelling.
Keep them. That's what happens. We're all getting fired up, baby.
All right,
Utah money line.
Talk to me.
No one wants USC to win this game.
Brenny, talk to me.
All right, I'm not a huge Pac-12 guy at all, and I think this game is as flip a coin as you can get. But I am going to bring up the point where it's very difficult to beat a team twice. And I think that will transition us into the next game we talk about with the Big 12 championship, because I'll wait till we talk about that to give my pick. But I think it's going to work in different ways here. I think that this just is USC season. With Ohio State losing last week,
100%.
USC now sneaking into the playoff. I don't think they give it up on Friday night. I got the Trojans. I honestly, just because I think the line's so sharp, I would just lay some juice and take the money line, because I could see some weird stuff going on in the shootout where somehow they don't cover 2.5.
100%. USC minus 10. Hobby?
This is USC and all USC. I've been on them all season long. The only game I went against them was actually when Utah beat them the first time. Caleb Williams is a dog, probably my favorite player in all of college football. And, Gutsy brought up a bunch of good points about Utah's defense, but guess what? We heard the same exact thing last week against Notre Dame. All we heard was Notre Dame's defense going to shut them down. USC's not going to be able to run the ball on them. Aaron Jones put up 100. Austin Jones, put up 154 yards. Caleb Williams put up 3 more touchdowns on the ground. Absolutely obliterated their defense. Now we're hearing the same thing again about Utah. And what you said earlier was a shootout in the first game. So what defense are we actually talking about? Caleb Williams put up almost 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in the first matchup, another 225 on the ground as a team. And Lincoln Riley, he's been here. He's been in these big games. I'm going to back him. I'm going to back Caleb Williams, Addison, and the crew. They're already number 4. They know if they win, they're in. And I'm taking them to the bank. This is my favorite game of the whole season.
I mean, Caleb Williams is that guy. He's going to be the number 1 draft pick. He's going to win the Heisman. Like, he reminds me specifically of Aaron Rodgers. Like, that dude can sling the rock from any arm angle, any position, and it's going to be a 40-yard bomb down the field. It's unbelievable. Last weekend, I pointed to the TV. We were sitting in this bar, and I was literally like, watch this dude play. I tapped the dude next to me. Caleb Williams rolled out to his left, threw across his body on the run across the field, and it was a 45-yard pass on the flick of a wrist. I was like, oh my. And I just happened to be like S-ing his D right at this moment. But it was like a perfect example of why he's like the absolute god right now in college football. He's going to be the number 1 draft pick. All right, I'll shut up. Alex?
Give me the chalk. I love USC. Love USC. As a school, not really. But Caleb Williams, I think Utah would have to play a perfect game to beat USC. I really do. By the way, over 67.5.
Love that. That's free money.
You cannot watch this game having the under, and I feel much better about the total than I do about USC. I was at the USC UCLA game. You just can't count Caleb Williams out. And we know how good he is, but I really think that Utah would have to play a perfect game. I don't think that, I don't think they win. I don't think they cover.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's on the same page except Guts here, but he just has Caleb and Lincoln on his list. So, hey, I respect it. If you got a list, you got to stick to the list, and you got to hate him. You got to die on that hill. And you're going to die on that hill.
Out in Oklahoma last year, I'm sitting down in Arkansas. My ticket's looking great. And then all of a sudden, Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley, we love Oklahoma. Blah, 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 blah. They hate Oklahoma. They were going to USC the whole time. They didn't tell anybody. A couple of scumbags. They will always be scumbags. But I do agree with Brenny. That's literally what I was going to say, is that I literally never take teams to sweep teams. I rarely take them to beat the same team twice the same season. I still haven't even bet them yet. I still might bet them. I don't know yet. But totally agree with Brenny on that point.
Hard to beat a team twice.
To beat a team multiple times.
I'll clarify this. As much as I trust, one statistic shouldn't define you taking a team against the spread or on the money line. I'm just using that as reasoning for backing USC. To be honest, I won't even personally bet that game. I think it's such a toss-up, and the Pac-12 in general is such a toss-up. I feel like we could have seen 2 completely different teams in this game regarding the Pac-12 championship, just if a couple plays went the different way. And you can argue that in other conferences, but I think in the Big Ten, and especially with Georgia and the SEC, there's true domination. The Pac-12, I legitimately think everyone can beat anyone, but USC is the best team on paper. That's why I think they win. Don't think it will be a pick that I tossed any form of units on, though. I might ride with Alex in the over because it's just going to be entertaining to watch.
Over feels like free money. They might blow the top off 80 points. Over feels
Oh,
like
yeah.
free money. All right, we'll move on. Guts, we'll start with you again because it feels like we're talking about the same teams every week on the scoop. Guys must think I'm
Bring it
God,
on
like
over.
that I'm just pulling the strings because every week I take TCU and I take USC and they keep winning. Just pulling the strings. Just pulling the strings.
Bring it over here.
Guts, talk to us about the TCU game. Let's hear it.
I mean, listen. I like K-State here. I don't know how else to put it. I like K-State to come out and win this game. But the bet that I actually like most in this game, by far, under of 62 points in this game. I think that is the perfect bet. This number is way too high. Both these defenses, not bad, but realistically, both offenses are honestly not very fast-paced offenses. They both rank outside of top 75 in the country in pace of play, and I just think both of them are going to be trying to grapple on to who can handle the possession, who can have the most possession in this game. I think they're both just going to try to run it down each other's throats. I don't think this is going to be some crazy big shootout that everyone thinks it's going to be. I mean, like I said, both defenses, the biggest issue with them is that when they let teams get into the red zone, they both rank, I think it was like 70th and 74th in red zone efficiency. They've been letting some teams score, but it's getting into the red zone that's been the tough part for a lot of teams. Both defenses have been very good at stopping teams from getting first downs. Their third down conversions have been very, very high. I love how they've been playing. I just think both defenses, they're also very solid at forcing punts. It's just, I think this is going to be a clear-cut under 62 game. I think it's going to hit easily, no sweat. That's my favorite bet in that game.
All right, Brenny.
I have some TCU bias. My sister currently goes there, but I
whoa.
am gonna have to rock with K-State.
Thanks for the precursor, though.
I mean, if you did,
What is a horned frog?
honestly, I have no idea, and I think it's stupid when all the kids do that. I don't think that's good looking.
I think it's
But
quite
it's not very intimidating.
Yeah, I think it's.
But I mean, TCU, what the heck happened in Waco 2 weeks ago? Had to pull off some crazy field goal to beat Baylor. And one thing I do when I look at these games, so like, let's look at K-State. They went to Waco and won 31-3, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the exact score. But consistently, what I've been seeing with K-State is Vegas really thinks these guys are good. They were double-digit favorites against Kansas. Everyone was on Kansas last week. What does K-State do? They go and win by 20. They dominate Baylor. They've struggled a few times with Iowa State. They lost to Texas in the Big 12, but I do think this K-State team is legit. The only thing that makes me a little worried, although I will be taking K-State in this one, is the fact that TCU is in Fort Worth, and this game is at AT&T Stadium in Dallas, so it should be an absolute sea of purple supporting the Horned Frogs.
100%. 100% it will be. And they got Max Dugan at the helm, so. All right, Hobby?
First and foremost, I think you mentioned your sister in the chat's blowing up on her Instagram. You might have to answer that.
Oh,
But
God.
we got,
Oh, don't put
You said-
Gutsy
you said
gang
no.
on that.
anyway, I've been on TCU off and on throughout this season. I just don't have a good feeling about them in this game. I was actually on K-State in the first game, and they literally had TCU on the ropes up 28-17 at halftime, and I don't know what the heck happened in the second half, but the wheels just came off, and they didn't even score in the second half, lost 21-0 in the second half. But like Brenny said in the first USC-Utah matchup, K-State rematch, gotta back them here. And I think the big thing is with the lead, I think I trust K-State more. I trust their running game more. So I think if they're able to get out to a lead, 7 points, 10 points, whatever it is, I think they'll be able to control the clock. And I think with that's going to be the key with Vaughn there. I wouldn't take the 2.5. I'd buy the hook, get the key number at +3, ride K-State.
All right, well, I'm hammering TCU, but Alex?
First of all, love the under. Love the under. Man, I was gonna say K-State, and the fact that everyone has K-State is scaring me. I'm gonna keep it with K-State. I'm just not sold on TCU. I'm just not. I would like to see them in it, and
What do they
I
need to
don't
do?
think that
What do they need to do?
I'm just not sold. I'm really not. I'm gonna end up taking the under, and I'll probably make this pick at the last minute. But as of right now, I'm leaning K-State.
I'm hammering TCU. I'm hammering TCU. I've done it every single week, and they've just paid me in tenfold. So I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to ride them all the way to Levi Stadium, the national championship.
Yeah, Coop. I've been riding TCU all year. I just don't think that. I just don't think the frog. I think the frog slander, kind of like what Alex said, is how he's not sold. I think that's got to go because what else can TCU do? They were 7.5-point dogs. Went
What else
into
can they
Austin,
do?
Texas, and got a win. And this sounds super wrong of me considering I'm picking K-State. I just think that's the sharper side. I do think the Horned Frogs run ends, and as unfortunate as it gets, I think it ends and they're still legit. K-State is the worst possible team they could have played in this matchup, maybe outside of UT, because there were some other Big 12 teams, and I think K-State is mightily underrated. So I think if TCU loses, I don't want to hear that they were a fraud. They had a hell of a year, and I think if they played anyone else in the Big 12, they'd be in the playoff.
I agree. But, I mean, I guess I'll just have to – I might not laugh to the bank this time because it – like, when you laugh to the bank so many times, eventually you feel bad for everybody that you're laughing at. And I think that's the time that I'm getting to is it'll be too many times laughing to the bank, and I'll be thinking about all you guys missing out on the bank run that I've taken TCU for this year.
No one's missing out.
But, yeah,
Hey,
we'll go down to Atlanta. We'll go down to Atlanta.
Hey.
LSU, Georgia.
Oh.
SEC championship. Obviously, LSU lost last week, so if they win, it would really just it would shatter the college football world. Like, I don't know what the committee would just probably throw everything out at that point. But Guts, talk to me. LSU, Georgia. I think everybody's probably leaning Georgia, but it's LSU, so they beat some good teams this year.
Yeah, sure they have. Listen, I'm probably not gonna bet this game. I mean, 17.5 points, right? Is that what it's at now? Still moved up. It was at 15.5. I think it opened. Georgia's just so, and I came into the season saying that Stetson Bennett and Georgia was just a bunch of frauds. Was never really high on Georgia coming in the season. My hot take preseason was that they wouldn't make the college football playoff. They're obviously going to. I was wrong, but I just don't see how they don't. Maybe they rout them. Maybe it's close. No matter what, Georgia's going to win this game, but I'm not willing to bet LSU to keep it close at all. And I just think that Georgia's just so much better than LSU. It's just they're so much better. I just think they're probably going to dominate them. Not really much for me to say here because I'm not going to bet the game, and I just think that Georgia's going to absolutely obliterate them.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely. I mean that's a good possibility. It's just one of those games where you could see LSU just walking in there and beating Georgia, in my opinion. Just because, why not?
I mean, I agree. It's just LSU's defense didn't get any pressure.
I honestly, I couldn't disagree more, and it's interesting that you bring that up because I think that if LSU doesn't have trouble at College Station last week, we get a completely different line. Obviously, this game is way more hyped up. But I thought we were going to see one in the SEC championship game when LSU still had a chance to get in if they beat Georgia without losing to A&M. And I thought it was going to be one of those lines that came out as like 5.5, and everyone slaughtered Georgia, and somehow LSU either pulled it off or at least covered. Now that the line's opened at 15, it's grew all the way to 17.5 is where I'm seeing it. I think Georgia blows the brakes off LSU. I think Brian Kelly's creating something very special in Baton Rouge. However, it is not their year, and last week proved it. They made a good second-half run, but Georgia is so good this year. I think they are just way ahead of Michigan and everyone else behind.
All right. I mean, we'll wait till I go, but Capper, Hobby?
I wish Ohio State made it. Ohio State has a chance.
Ohio State's dog shit.
They're not.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. After LSU losing last week, this game really doesn't interest me at all. I probably won't even actually watch it or tune into it, and I know I won't be betting on it. If I had to go one way, like Brendan was saying, line up to 17.5 now. I just see Georgia just blowing them out. I have a slight lean to the under, but there's just nothing here for me in this game. Probably watching a different game on Saturday.
All right, Alex. More of the same.
Yeah, my interest level is pretty low in this game, I'll be honest. So here's the thing. I'm going to probably bet Georgia because Georgia, I think, is going to kill them. But I think I'm going to be at Jameson's in LA on Saturday, which is an LSU bar. So I'm trying to talk myself into LSU, even though I feel really shitty about it. And I think Georgia is just such in a class of their own. I'm moving Georgia, but part of me just doesn't even want to touch this game.
Dude, so hear me out. Everybody hear me out. LSU literally, this is the first SEC championship since I can really remember, that one team just has absolutely nothing to lose. Right? Like, it's normally undefeated Alabama versus one-loss Georgia, or undefeated Georgia versus one-loss Bama. LSU literally has nothing to lose. So I feel like 17.5, they easily cover that. They're a talented football team. Like, they're gonna go out and play well just because they have nothing to lose. Stetson Bennett, on the other hand, like, he's graduated. He's done. He's a little bit nervous going into this game. And Gutsy, back me up here. Stetson Bennett is garbage. And I don't want... if I'm Georgia, I don't want a nervous Stetson Bennett going out and playing a Brian Kelly coach team that has beat some good teams this year and has a lot of talent and potential, and Jaden Daniels, who's a good quarterback, playing well. You know, like, that's a bad combination for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Stetson Bennett didn't win the Natty last year for him. I'll tell you that. I had Georgia. I bet Georgia last year.
I just think it's like a perfect storm for LSU to beat them.
Still ranks outside top 15.
Literally, what did I say last weekend, Guts? I texted you. I said A&M money line. Everybody at this bar hated me because they were all on LSU. I was like, A&M money line, like, it's gonna happen. Perfect storm. Jimbo needed to keep his job. Kyle Field's a spooky place to play. LSU had to lose that game to make this SEC championship interesting. It was the perfect storm. I don't know. I feel like the storm is still going on. I feel like it's in Atlanta.
Nah, Coop. Stetson Bennett is not nervous for this game in the least bit. He's played in games. Take a 10x multiplier.
Dude,
he's
a geek. Stetson Bennett's a geek. He gets nervous. He gets nervous for his math test.
I think he gets nervous.
They own
Such
Atlanta.
a low pressure game for him.
Yeah, I agree with me and Alex are on the same page. I mean, this dude has played against Bama.
Stetson Bennett has won national championships.
He didn't win it for them. He played all right.
He won one, but yeah, he didn't win that Natty. He tried blowing it. He's just lucky that Georgia was the best.
Okay, why are we discrediting a quarterback who won the national championship in college football? He played
for the number one team with the number one.
He's not anything special, but he's played in plenty of big games, and this is at home against a team that is good. But honestly, this is a pretty low pressure for him. It doesn't change that he's not great, but he won't be, I don't think, nervous.
Well, he can't lose. He can't lose this game.
No,
I think he can.
I think no.
I think if they lose, I think they have a better resume than Ohio State. If they lose,
if Stetson Bennett loses this game, throw his resume out the window in the national championship. Absolute failure. They literally have a national championship being handed to them this year. Being handed to them. If he loses this game, one of potentially the easiest big games he'll play in, throw it out the window. He's a failure.
Disagree.
If you took Stetson and put him on Bama, they'd probably lose 4 games.
Probably 5.
Yeah, they'd probably lose 4 or 5 games. He wouldn't work for any other team. He's just the system at Georgia is perfect for Stetson.
System
he
quarterback.
Would not work anywhere else. System quarterback. He's literally.
All right, we'll do one add-on here. We'll do the Chiefs
Georgia.
and we'll do the Chiefs and Bengals on Sunday. Great game. I think we beat the championship horse dead, but I mean, I'm pumped for the.
Can I call a 30, Coop? Can I call a 30?
What do you want?
So is Antonio Brown's in like a fucking standoff at the police?
Yeah, no, I actually just saw that in the comments with police.
Yeah.
I mean, not surprising, but.
I went to Twitter. They said
I did too. I'm trying to find some stuff on it while you guys were talking, but I can't find it
because he got. And I saw a report earlier. It was like domestic abuse or something. Police were trying to arrest him, and now
big win for Tom Brady if Antonio Brown's in a police standoff.
Tom Brady might have been the one to call the police. Tough talent. He might have been the one to call the cops. He's got a lot of pull.
Antonio might have been trespassing at Brady's house.
Tough talent. Who knows?
Oh my God.
Who knows?
Big win for Tom if he's insane. All right, let's do Bengals Chiefs quick. Brenny, we'll start with you, resident Bengal fan. I know, I'm high on the Bengals this year. I was at the game last weekend. Burrow looks really good. Their defense actually looks good too. Talk to us though.
I'll be there on Sunday. Obviously, I have to get the Bengals bias to everyone first, but this is an enormous game. I think the Bengals, if you look at the second half of their schedule, so they played the Titans last week. We play the Chiefs this week. We have the Bills and Ravens as our last two games. We also have to go to Tampa Bay during all of this. We play the Patriots. So just every single one of those games I listed, I think you can look at as losable games for the Bengals. However, with that win last week against Tennessee, I think we have so much momentum. And just the fact that this is a 2.5 point line, I think to the entire public, it looks so good to take the Chiefs. You don't have to buy a hook down. You can maybe just take their money line at a low price like minus 140. I think this has last year written all over it. The Bengals beat the Chiefs in the regular season and the AFC Championship, both in comeback fashion. Joe Burrow has never had more momentum in a regular season in his young career thus far. We're getting Jamar Chase back this week. We're getting Joe Mixon back this week. If they're full go, I think the Bengals beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think Jamar coming back is huge because T. Higgins is playing sick, and it's going to shift the attention to Jamar, and T. Higgins is just going to go off again. But, all right, Guts, we'll slide it over. Bottom right.
Is Jamar guaranteed to come back?
Yeah.
Well,
He been practicing?
he was limited in practice, but he's not fully guaranteed yet. But he was actually supposed to go as of Monday last week in Tennessee, and then he didn't go. So I think a whole almost 2 weeks he should be playing in a huge game.
Yeah, I agree. I think maybe they didn't even play him last week for this game specifically. They're like, listen, we'll just let you get 100%. But either way, I also like the Bengals here. I was very low on both these teams coming into the season. I said the Chiefs wouldn't even win more than 11 games. Looking like I'll probably be wrong on that one because they've won some massive games. Offenses look way better than really anybody thought. But I do also think the same thing. I think the Bengals, the worst thing for them, obviously, is their fucking dog shit offensive line that just continues to let up pressure and sacks. And then, of course, the Chiefs' defense. One of the things they are good at is pressuring the quarterback and getting sacks. They're ranked 5th in the NFL in that stat. But I think the biggest disparity here is going to be the Bengals getting the ball into the red zone. If you can get the ball into the red zone versus the Chiefs, they've already laid out the blueprint for you. Get into the red zone, you can basically score on them at will. They rank dead last in red zone efficiency on the defense, while the Bengals are like the best red zone offense in the NFL. I think this is just such a big game, and I completely agree with Brenny that people are going to just take one look at this line, and they're going to just blindly bet Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because of how good they've looked this year. But I think this is one of them classic letdown spots for the Chiefs. They're going to go out there. They're probably going to lose this game. I think the Bengals are going to win at home. It's a sick environment, too. The Who Dey Nation is pretty fucking wild, pretty fucking strong. I just think this offense is so legit. They're just
You've been to that stadium, right?
Well, I mean, cool.
Wait, didn't you go see the Dolphins play there earlier this season?
Yeah.
You saw the Dolphins play there, right?
Scumbag. Don't you dare. I'll never forget it. That day is engraved in my brain forever. I thought I lost my quarterback.
I think most of us won't ever forget it.
I'll never forget it.
I mean, most of us won't ever forget it. And most of us
I mean, we should have won that game.
Most of us being everyone in the world except for one person.
Teddy Two Gloves had a chance to win that game, and he fucking blew it. Absolutely choked it. Fuck you, Teddy Two Gloves.
Most of us won't ever forget it.
I'll never forget it. Literally murder.
Murder
on a football field.
Hobby, talk to us.
I'm going to be honest. This game goes against – my pick's going to go against everything I typically do because I totally agree with Brenny and Gutsy with this whole the trap line that's out there. But I have very few rules in the NFL, and it's when you get a high-caliber quarterback. It's such a short line. It's almost an auto bet for me. But the biggest thing for me is them losing to the Bengals twice last season. Mahomes rematched, hard to beat a team 3 times. He has that look in his eye. Kelsey's on fire. They won 5 in a row. I'm gonna buy the Chiefs, get on the money line. I think it's like minus 135, maybe 140. I'll ride that trap line and do or die with them.
All right, respect it. I mean, Chiefs are the Chiefs. Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Chiefs are the Chiefs.
Alex?
Chiefs will always Chief.
Round us out here.
I love betting the Chiefs. But I'm betting the Bengals. I think this season is really starting to take shape for the Bengals like last year. And I think this is the big game that they win to lead them into the playoffs. And you know, Burrow, Mahomes, like, yes, I agree with you guys. People are going to see this line and immediately bet the Chiefs. I'm the biggest Patrick Mahomes fan, but, like, what's the drop-off from Mahomes to Burrow? Like, is that crazy of a question? Like, yes, Mahomes is the best quarterback, but I would put Burrow in the top 5. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think this is a rare time where it's a QB matchup that, you know, like, he can hang. He can, like, Burrow can absolutely hang with Mahomes.
Burrow last week in Tennessee, Burrow just had that look in his eye that we saw last January. He just had that look in his eye. Like he wants more. So I'm riding the Bengals too.
Yeah, I've made a lot of money off the Chiefs, and I love betting the Chiefs and Mahomes stuff. But Bengals at home, this is one of the biggest games of Burrow's career. I just think that the Bengals as a home underdog, too juicy to pass up.
Yeah, I love it too. Last time I bet the Bengals as a home underdog, were they a home underdog against the Dolphins? No, they were actually favored.
No, they were favored.
They were favored.
Oh no, they were favored.
Yeah, they were
Which is-
favored
no,
because
we should've-
you freaked out and you hammered the Dolphins, but everybody else is on the Bengals. Anyways, all right, we'll wrap up here. This has been good. This has been awesome. Alex, appreciate you coming on. Shout out Gutsy Gang. Shout out the Locksmiths. The Dacian, we'll call it the Dacian. Shout out the Dacian. All the hobby cappers. I don't know what you all the hobby cappers out, all the little hobby cappers out there. This has been great. Alex, appreciate you coming on, homie. This has been awesome. And go sign up for SoBet. Free money if you haven't done it. Obviously, everybody in the chat's done it because they like free money. But, yeah, we'll run it back next week. Appreciate it, boys.
Take care, fellas.
See you guys.
Yeah, fellas.
Oh.